And wouldn't you know it, I had more trouble preparing this presentation than any other presentation I have ever done for this travel section.
Mm.
And it was really strange because I had so much time to do it. I had the entire morning up till now just about to work on this. And you know what was so troublesome, hard about it is that the clips that I captured weren't doing justice to the destination because Turkey is such an amazing destination. And it's a bit of a sleeper destination, which is probably why there's not a lot of good videos on it. So I want to wing it today a little more than I normally do by bringing a number of snippets of different videos. Okay. So let's start off the place we usually start off. So I'm going to share my screen here. Whoops. Hold on. Okay, great. I think we're there. Now I do have to do something first. Just a moment. Just a moment. Okay. Great. Okay, so we're going to start where we usually start at the Department of Aging and Community Living, downtown DC. And we're going to catch an Uber or have a friend drive us over to same place we always go, Dulles Airport. Although there might be plane that goes to Turkey out of National Reagan Airport. So, but for right now, let's just go out to Dulles Airport and we'll catch the airline out there. So lots of airlines. Turkey's got a big airline. Anybody know the name of the big airline that flies out of Istanbul, Turkey? Well, wouldn't you know, it's Turkish Airlines. And Turkish Airlines really, really has a big hub all over the world. If you're going to almost any destination in the world, there's a good chance you'll take Turkish Airlines because they're one big airline. And they've turned Istanbul into a major hub. Istanbul is the biggest city in Turkey. They turned it into a major air traffic hub. So here we are on our we're not getting any Boeing Max 737s today. Thank gosh. We're going on a Airbus. And we're going to fly across the ocean. Boy, it's a long trip. And we're going to fly over Spain. We're going to fly over Italy, two places we've already been. We're going to fly over Croatia. We already been there. And look where we're going to land. We're going to land in Istanbul, Turkey. One thing interesting about Turkey and about Istanbul in particular is that this is Europe over here. This is Europe over here. And this is Asia over here to the right. So to the right is Asia and to the left is Europe. And what's one of the unique characteristics about Istanbul is that the city literally spans two continents. So quite remarkable. So we're going to land in Istanbul Airport, again, one of the major hubs for the whole world. And it's easy to understand why. I mean, it's a gateway to Europe, it's a gateway to Africa, it's a gateway to the Middle East. And so no wonder they got a big market for travelers. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing here. And normally from here, I would go into the history piece, which I will do, but I'm going to jump around because the history was not well prepared here. I'm not happy with these videos here. So we're going to jump around a little bit. So I'm going to start this up. Give me a sec. And then I'm going to reshare my screen. Oops. I'm going to reshare my screen. And here we go. Let me know if you can't hear it.
Oh, you're good to go, Lou.
The history of Turkey. From this title, we can understand as the period between the formation of the Republic in the 29th of October, 1923, and the present days, or the period of Ottoman and Turkic beyliks. but we are going to refer to the entire period of known history of this land. Practically, the history of the region now forming the territory of not only the Republic of Turkey, but also Anatolia. The earliest representations of culture in Anatolia were some Stone Age artifacts. Due to its strategic location at the intersection of Asia and Europe, Anatolia has been an important place of several civilizations since prehistoric times. At the start of the Bronze Age, metallurgy spread to Anatolia from Transcaucasian cultures in the late 4th millennium BCE. And it slowly entered in the sphere of influence of the Akkadian Empire. Many civilizations existed here. Speaking about one, the Hittite civilization was a member of an ancient Indo-European people who appeared in Anatolia at the beginning of the 2nd millennium BCE. By 1340 BCE, they had become one of the dominant powers in the Middle East. The remnants of Bronze Age civilizations such as the Haitian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Hittite peoples provide us with many examples of the daily lives of its citizens and their trade. After the fall of the Hittites, the new state of Phrygia and Lydia stood strong on the western coast as Greek civilization began to flourish. They and all the rest of Anatolia were relatively soon incorporated into the Persian Empire. More from the east, a new power emerged. Persia grew in power more and more and influenced the lands of the west, expanding in Anatolia. Their system of local government in Anatolia allowed many cities and ports to grow and to become wealthy because of the influx of trade and road networks between the east and west. The region of Anatolia got divided into various regions, satrapies, ruled by satraps, governors, appointed by the central Persian rulers. In the earliest 5th century BC, some of the Ionian cities under Persian rule revolted, which culminated into the Ionian Revolt. This revolt, after being easily suppressed by the Persians, led to the popular Greco-Persian Wars, one of the most known and crucial wars from the ancient history. This Greco-Persian War led to more conflicts in the Greek peninsula. Fights for power and influence happened, and a revenge sentiment mixed with good leaderships led to the growth of Macedonian kingdom.
I'm going to stop there. Does anybody know of a famous battle in the Greco-Persian War? I bet you all know it. I bet you all know it.
It's the Leonidas.
Ooh, that could be. I guess I don't know it, but that's not what I was thinking of. There's another one. It's a very famous city in Turkey. Very famous. There was a war fought there. And there's a famous horse associated with that battle.
Trojan horse.
Yes.
Trojan?
What city?
The Trojan Wars.
City of Troy.
Troy. Yeah,
Troy.
Troy is in Turkey.
Oh, Troy.
The Persian War. Troy is like right around here. They only found that city, not that long ago. They thought it was a myth.
Under Philip II and his son, Alexander the Great, who gained control of the whole region and conquered Persia in successive battles. From this point, Anatolia was more and more influenced by the Hellenic world. After Alexander's death, his conquests were split amongst several of his trusted generals. The Seleucid Empire, the largest of Alexander's territories, and which included Anatolia, became involved in wars with Rome more years later. The rise of Rome was felt across the Mediterranean basin. The control of Anatolia was strengthened by Rome, allowing local control to govern effectively and provide military protection, expanding deep into Anatolian territory. The territory here developed in Roman times. Due to the rise of instability in the empire and the permanent raids from foreign invaders.
So there's a lot of really famous Roman cities and Roman ruins in Turkey, and you're going to see them in these slides. Some of the best in the whole world. Can anybody name a very famous Roman city without even going forward that they think might be in Turkey? A lot of them are referenced in the Bible. So one of the most
Constantinople?
Which one?
Constantinople?
Oh yeah, Constantinople for sure. We're going to learn a lot about that. But Constantinople didn't exist in the time of Jesus. That was founded afterwards, but that's a darn good guess.
Damascus? Damascus.
Damascus, I think, is more in Syria. The one I'm thinking of is Ephesus. Ephesus is mentioned in the Bible. Not a lot, but it's mentioned. You'll see that in this video.
In the 4th century AD, the Emperor Constantine the Great established a new administrative center at the city of Byzantium, called Constantinople after his name. And by the end of the 4th century, the Roman Empire split into two parts, the western part with Rome as its capital, and the eastern part with Constantinople as its capital, an empire referred to by historians as the Byzantine Empire. The process of Hellenization that began with Alexander's conquest accelerated under Roman rule, and the ancient Greek language and culture was predominant in the region. Turkic peoples and related groups migrated west from Turkestan and what is now Mongolia towards Eastern Europe, Iranian Plateau, and Anatolia. The Seljuk Turkmens created a medieval empire that controlled a vast area, stretching from the Hindu Kush to eastern Anatolia, and from Central Asia to the Persian Gulf. Many wars, the emerging of new empires, migrations, raids, and the incompetence of some leaders created the slow process of the Byzantine decline throughout time. Their decline and the growing power of the Seljuks led to conflicts and to the famous Battle of Manzikert on 26th of August, 1071, which is believed to be the open gate for the Turkic people, which will come in Anatolia in the next decades and centuries. This important battle was fought between the Byzantine Empire and the Seljuk Empire near Manzikert. The defeat of the Byzantine Empire and the capture of their emperor Romanos Diogenes IV is an important chapter in the history of Anatolia and in the history of what will be known as the Ottoman Empire and the Republic of Turkey.
So this is really important. So what happened is, Rome fell already. Remember they said that it split? So because it became so big, and Emperor Constantine, who was the very first Christian emperor of Rome, created Constantinople to rule the eastern side and Rome to rule the western side of their empire. Well, Rome fell. The whole left side fell. Imagine the United States falling, all east of the Mississippi. And suddenly, LA becomes the capital of the United States. And that sort of happened. And that sort of happened. That did happen. But what's interesting about it is all of the knowledge that Rome had accumulated over 500 years. The knowledge from the Library of Alexandria that they maintained, all of that knowledge was carried with them to Constantinople. And it was completely lost. So Europe sunk into the Middle Ages, and with total, reversal back to original times, whereas Byzantium maintained the culture of Rome and the knowledge of the Roman Empire had accumulated for 500 years. So now you have the rise of the Turks happening. The Muslim religion. So does anybody know around when Muhammad emerged on the scene? The originator of the Muslim religion? Does anybody know?
68 AD.
When?
68 AD.
I thought he was around 500. Can anybody Google it?
Okay.
When was
6010 CE.
When is it?
610.
610. Okay, that sounds right. So you can see 500 years after the time of Jesus, Muhammad emerged on the scene and he formed the Muslim religion. And the Muslim religion began to rise to the east of Byzantium, which was all Christian at the time. So this is where this conflict began between the Christians and the Muslims way back when. So let's pick it up.
The Sultanate of Rome seceded from the Great Seljuk Empire, and they ruled central Anatolia. As the Seljuk Sultanate of Rome started to crumble, many other smaller regions emerged, ruled by different leaders. These small kingdoms were called beyliks. One of them was ruled by Osman, which will be known as Osman I, the founder of the Ottoman Empire. It's believed that Osman's early followers consisted both of Turkish tribal groups and Byzantine renegades, but not all were Muslims. It is not known for sure how this beylik started to dominate the region, but one thing was sure: the Byzantine Empire was very vulnerable. The new empire expanded into Europe, defeating local leaders and taking profit from the instability of the region. By the year 1400, the Ottomans were a true power, having control of much of the Balkans and western Anatolia. The collapse of Constantinople in the year of 1453 and the end of the last vestiges of the Roman Empire consolidated their power and their notoriety for the next centuries, in which the empire will expand even further, reaching its peak in the 16th and 17th centuries.
So I'm going to sort of end this video here because it goes into a bunch of other stuff. But I don't think we teach enough about the Ottoman Empire in our schools in this country, because this was a major empire that lasted 500 years, and it was centered in Turkey and in Constantinople. And the history is just incredible there. The Roman history, the Greek history, the Ottoman history, it's all there.
When I took AP World History, Lou, the Ottoman Empire was one of the main ones, because you see how much land that they took or they were able to get. It's just amazing. So, you know, just wanted to share that.
Thanks for that, Alex. So I'm gonna skip the remainder of this video because there's a lot of videos. I took clips from all over because I just didn't think that the videos were doing the location justice. So I'm gonna now jump to a quick video on the fall of the Byzantine Empire, because there's just an incredible history there that we just don't learn enough about in our schools here or in this neck of the woods. Hold on. Give me a sec. I just got to find it. I saved so many videos.
The third
It
one.
would be helpful to tell people what modern day countries those Ottoman Empire encompasses.
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to go back and do that?
Yes, you can. You don't have to do the film. You can just tell us.
Yeah.
What
So when we saw over there, it occupied like Iran and Iraq and
Syria.
certainly all of Turkey, Greece, up into Bulgaria. So spanned both Eastern European countries as well as, you know, Western Middle Eastern countries.
Non-Slavic countries.
Oh, you said non-Slavic?
Yes.
That could be.
Yes.
It could be.
Iran, Iraq, Syria, Greece, all those are non-Slavic. Those are considered to be like Eastern European.
Interesting.
Or Middle East. Because, you know, Iran is, you know, people say, well, what continent is Iran and Iraq? What continent are they on? What continent is Syria on?
I think it's Asia. Officially, it's Asia, although they call it Middle East, but the continent is Asia.
Yeah, that's important to know. These are Asian countries, not European. They're Asian countries, not African. They're not European. They're Asian countries.
No, that's a really good point. And I think, you know, knowing also the rise of Muhammad and Mohammedanism and, you know, the Muslim religion in that area, really, you know, triggered a lot of the change that happened.
And speaking of change, just recently, Turkey has changed their names to Turkiye.
Oh.
With the two dots, Turkiye.
Well, maybe I should have continued that video. We'll go back to it if I have time in the end. But let me pick it up because I got lots of videos today. This is the Byzantine.
The Byzantine Empire was the eastern half of the Roman Empire, outliving its collapse in the west by nearly a millennium.
So there you go. The purple is Byzantium, and here's Greece. You know, this is the Slavic. This is Croatia. So it didn't encompass that. But then you have Turkey right here going around this neck, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. Oh my gosh, Israel, northern Egypt. So it was pretty big.
Although its inhabitants would have self-identified as Romans, we currently use the term Byzantine to distinguish it from the western portion of the Roman Empire. The name refers to Byzantium, an ancient Greek city ideally located as a transit trade point between Europe and Asia. In fact, in 330, Roman Emperor Constantine the Great moved the Roman Empire's capital from Rome to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople after himself. Constantine was the first emperor to legalize Christianity, which was previously persecuted throughout the pagan Roman Empire, and summoned the First Council of Nicaea in an effort to reach consensus in the church. Emperor Theodosius I then went further by making Christianity the official religion of the Roman state and punished the practice of pagan rituals. The Byzantine Empire existed from approximately 395, when the Roman Empire was split. About 80 years later, the Western Roman Empire.
You guys capture that? So the Byzantine Empire started in 395 and it finally fell in 1450. It lived for 1100 years, folks. That's 5 times longer than the length of the United States right now.
Fell, while its eastern counterpart, Byzantium, remained a powerful, thriving empire. The reign of Justinian the Great is usually considered the golden age of Byzantium. He wished to restore the Roman Empire to its former glory and was responsible for many reconquests, including North Africa, Spain, and most of Italy. One of Justinian's most important acts was legal reform. Originally, Roman laws differed from region to region, but Justinian created a single code that eventually served as the basis for civil law across medieval Europe and holds major influence upon public international law today. His wife Theodora was powerful and often referred to as his co-regent. She was heavily involved with the legal reforms specifically regarding women's rights, such as prohibiting forced prostitution and expanding the rights of women in divorce. Many great monuments were built under Justinian, none greater than the Hagia Sophia, the center of Christianity in Constantinople and the largest church in the world for nearly a millennium.
You guys picked that up? This church was built in 500 AD by Justinian, Emperor Justinian. It still exists today, and it was the largest church in the world for 1,000 years. And this is in Turkey, folks.
However, a plague swept throughout the empire, killing Theodora, almost the emperor himself, and devastating the whole empire. After Justinian, the empire continuously lost lands to Persian forces during the Byzantine-Sasanian Wars, some of the longest wars in history. But Emperor Heraclius finally led Byzantium to victory against their Persian rivals. He restructured the military and administration and adopted Greek for official use instead of Latin. Under the constant threat of invasion, the emperor developed the theme system. Small regions were placed under the control of a general responsible for its defense and civil administration, strengthening the empire overall, which was a step away from the traditional Roman practice of centralized recruitment. However, upon Islamic Prophet Muhammad's death, the rising Muslim Arab armies conquered the rich provinces of Egypt and Syria and almost destroyed the Byzantine Empire in the Byzantine Arab Wars. The empire had gone from being the urbanized and cosmopolitan Eastern Roman Empire into medieval Byzantium, a predominantly agrarian Greek-speaking society. The Isaurian dynasty saw rising iconoclasm, banning image veneration. This furthered conflict with the West as the Roman Pope remained in favor of religious images throughout the medieval period. Although it stretched over less territory from the 8th to the 11th century, the Byzantine Empire enjoyed another golden age under the Macedonian dynasty. The empire patronized art, including Byzantine mosaics, had more control over trade and more international prestige than under Justinian. East-West religious relations became increasingly strained, and centuries of theological and political differences culminated in the Great Schism of 1054. This created 2 separate branches of Christianity.
Now, everybody picking up on this? This is a very big deal if you're a Christian.
They had
The
2
Great
popes.
Schism of 1054. Do you guys remember that? Anybody know about that?
This is where we had 2 popes, right? Then they had two leaders
Yeah.
of the of that. But also I want to gear in on the people to understand that Persia is like what we consider modern day Iran and Iraq. So the people from those regions have a proud history that goes back. And you have to understand that to understand how we got to other different things, what happened post World War II. So it's important to understand people's pride in their cultural background. And as Lou said, while the Byzantine Empire was going on, in parts of Europe, they were just living in caves.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
That's why they need to still teach history and ancient history and new history. They stopped teaching that in the schools, and the kids are stupid and ignorant. They don't know nothing about this. And if we don't teach them, they're not going to ever know anything about it.
Yeah, and that's right. I agree.
And that's why they have such disrespect for other people.
That's
They don't realize
right.
that the U.S. and even the English-speaking countries, they just been on the map just a spit.
Right.
Mhm.
But they think we're so
Apologize
powerful.
anyway,
Let's
they
get
might
back to Turkey.
Okay, I'm sorry, Lou. I
all
didn't
right,
mean
folks.
to start
All right.
nothing.
Yeah, we'll give it. But look at the tremendous things that are around Turkey. These are tremendous things that happen in the history of the world. And that's why I had such a hard time putting this together, because I didn't think the videos were doing it justice. So the church split, and there was a pope in Rome, and then there was a patriarch in Constantinople. And it's still like that today. Today
Yes.
we still have a pope and patriarch. So let's keep
The
going.
Roman Catholic Church in the West and the Eastern Orthodox Church in the Byzantine East. A few years later, in 1064, the Seljuk Turks, rising Muslim nomadic warriors from Central Asia, were able to invade the disputed frontier region of Armenia. Latin armies also invaded parts of Byzantium, but Emperor Comnenus forced soldiers' loyalty in the hope of defeating the Turks. The combined Western Byzantine forces recaptured Asia Minor, but the events ultimately exacerbated East-West animosity. Violent tensions between the East and West culminated during the Fourth Crusade, when Catholic crusaders sacked Constantinople, looted the Hagia Sophia, and instated a short-lived line of Latin kings from the West.
You guys pick up on that? It was actually the Crusaders, the Christians, who sacked Constantinople, which is the last vestige of Christian Rome.
Under the Palaiologan emperors, Byzantium was economically crippled and failed to seek aid from the West again, this time against the Ottomans, nomadic Turkish tribes named after their leader Osman I. Ultimately, in 1453, the Ottomans were able to breach the strong walls of Constantinople, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire and the beginning of the long reign of the Ottoman Empire. Nevertheless, Byzantine legacy lives on through its influence on countries that practiced its Eastern Orthodox religion. Also, the writings of ancient Greek thinkers such as Plato were slowly vanishing in the West and might have been lost to history if not for the Byzantine Empire. Its libraries safeguarded these Greek and Roman texts that provided the foundation of the Renaissance.
What an amazing place Turkey is, isn't it? All right, well, that was a long history session. Let's jump into some present day activities here. So we all know that that there's we can name some famous palaces and structures for royalty in the West. But can anybody name the famous structures for royalty in the Ottoman Empire, where the Sultan lived? Can anybody name them? I'll give you a hint. Hold on.
Tokapi,
Yeah, who said that?
Yvonne.
Good job. I'm trying to play this video and it's not playing. I'm having a problem here. Hold on. Small technical problem.
They don't know about this unless they take a like I say, World History Part 1 and Part 2, college level, because they don't teach this. I mean,
Yeah, no, you're right. And I want to, for some reason, this video is not playing. I'll try to go into this other video, see if this one plays. So here we are in present day Turkey. Imagine all those
With
overlapping
cities
cultures
steeped
that
in
live here.
history, amazing beaches, and a beautiful countryside, a visit to Turkey promises an enchanted vacation. Diverse offerings, such as the ancient ruins of Ephesus to the luxury beach resorts along the Aegean Sea, will enthrall and captivate even the most jaded traveler. Istanbul, once the capital of the Byzantine and Ottoman empires, features prominently in most travel plans, but there are many more great destinations. Here's a look at the best places to visit in Turkey.
think that's Mount Ararat, where Noah's Ark is.
Number 10. Pamukkale. Pamukkale, meaning cotton castle in Turkish, is an unreal landscape in western Turkey, famous for its white terraces. The terraces are made of travertine, a sedimentary rock deposited by water with a very high mineral content from the hot springs. People have bathed in its pools for thousands of years. The ancient Greek city of Hierapolis was built on top of the hot springs by the kings of Pergamon. The ruins of the baths and other Greek monuments can still be seen at the site. Strategic hilltop overlooking the plains of Mesopotamia in southeastern Turkey, Mardin is one of the oldest settlements in the region. Mardin is best known for its old city of sandstone buildings that cascade down the hill. The maze of meandering streets in the old city leads visitors along terraced houses, mosques, churches, and mansions. Mecca, one of the oldest cities in the world.
So I'm skipping through this because I don't like these locations they're giving. They're not that significant in history, some of them, and so I'm going to skip through a number of them.
Konya prospered as a capital city under the rule of the Seljuk dynasty in the 12th and 13th centuries. Today, buildings from that era can still be admired, such as the Aladdin Mosque and the ruins of the Seljuk Palace. Konya was also the home of the Persian theologian and Sufi mystic Rumi. His mausoleum is a must-see sight in Konya. Rumi's followers founded an order known as the Whirling Dervishes due to their religious ceremonies in which they spin around and around on the left foot while wearing white, billowing gowns.
So you see that Turkey has some amazing Persian sites from multiple cultures. I'll play through those, but I'll skip some of the others.
Number 7. Antalya. Nestled among the beautiful Turkish Riviera on the Mediterranean coastline, Antalya is a vibrant city, welcoming tourists with numerous resorts, bars, and restaurants. Edirne. Once the capital of the Ottoman Empire, Edirne's grand past is visible everywhere, as fantastic old imperial buildings, palaces, and mosques are scattered around. The Selimiye Mosque, for instance, is a must-see in this delightful city, and the Old Quarter is lovely to wander around. Due to its strategic location and its proximity to Greece and Bulgaria, Edirne has a European feel about it, and there is lots of delicious cuisine on offer. A great time to visit is in summer, when the traditional oil wrestling festival takes place.
Those guys wouldn't have a chance against those guys in Senegal.
Number 5. Side. A major port in ancient Greece and occupied by Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC, Side today is a picturesque town of classic ruins and modern-day resorts overlooking sandy white beaches. Located on a small peninsula, Side offers fantastic dining and nightlife. Its star attraction is an excavated site of ancient Hellenistic and Roman ruins that include the remnants of a colossal amphitheater and various temples. Featuring narrow streets and attractive gardens, the charming town of Side offers many restaurants, ranging from delis and pizza shops to upscale dining in a variety of cuisines. Number 3. Ephesus.
So Ephesus is incredible. If anybody can research this, one of the 7 wonders of the world was in Ephesus. Can somebody research that while I'm playing this?
Europe's most complete classical metropolis, Ephesus is an ancient site located in Aegean Turkey. By the 1st century BC, Ephesus was one of the largest cities in all of the Roman Empire, boasting one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Temple of Artemis. The ruins of Ephesus are well preserved, making it one of Turkey's most popular tourist attractions. Its attractions include the massive theater, the Temple of Hadrian, and the magnificent library, a 2-story structure that was built to house more than 12,000 scrolls. Cappadocia. Situated in central Antalya, Cappadocia is best known for its fairy tale landscape of unusual formations resembling chimneys, cones, and pinnacles. Natural processes such as ancient volcanic eruptions and erosion have all sculpted these odd formations over the ages. Thousands of years ago, mankind added remarkable touches to the landscape by carving out houses, churches, and underground cities from the soft rock. Today, some of the caves in the region are actually hotels and cater to tourists. Number 1. Istanbul. Once serving as the capital of the Ottoman and Byzantine empires, Istanbul today is the largest city in Turkey and one of the largest in the world. Istanbul stretches across a narrow strait that connects Asia and Europe, making it the only city in the world spanning 2 continents. Top attractions include the Hagia Sophia, that's been a Greek Orthodox Christian basilica, then an imperial mosque, and now a museum, and the 15th century Topkapi Palace, also a museum today. Get in a little shopping at the Grand Bazaar that's been in operation since 1461.
That's the Grand Bazaar right there. We're almost done with that video. I want to play another one if I could. I'm going to try again to see if I can play the Topkapi Palace, because it's such an important site. It wasn't playing before. I'm going to try again.
Hit okay, or yeah.
Our storybook image of the Ottomans, sultans, harems, eunuchs, is best imagined here in the Topkapi Palace. Built in the late 15th century, this was the power center of the Ottoman Empire for almost 400 years. Its buildings form a series of courtyards, the outer being used for public functions. The further in you go, the more private the rooms. Among the most private was the harem. The word harem means forbidden in Arabic. It's the huge suite where the Sultan lived with his wives, female slaves, and children.
This is the largest room in the harem. It was the entertainment room and used for activities like the wedding of the Sultan's daughters. This was the divan that the Sultan used, his throne. The divans by the window were used by the Queen Mother and the wives of the Sultan, and the musicians used the balcony up above. But when I say a party, do not imagine a public event. It was rather for the family of the Sultan.
So just a small family affair. The Sultan, his mom, his wives, and his girlfriends.
His favorites. The whole purpose of the harem was to provide future heirs to the throne, to the Ottoman throne. But most of the tourists think that it was a party place, a fantasy place. It was not. It was an institution. It had its own rules. It was very well regulated, and these rules were very strict. The Sultan was not above these rules.
So the Sultan didn't just come in and pick a girl?
Definitely not. It was the Queen Mother, mother of the Sultan, mostly, that decided what should happen in the harem. And it was again the Queen Mother that decided whom the Sultan socialized with.
And of course, the Sultan enjoyed a state-of-the-art bathroom, complete with hot and cold running water. Bathed in light from these exquisite stained-glass windows, this is where the Sultan relaxed, entertained, and savored the sumptuous luxury his power provided. Some of the Sultan's opulence is still on display in the Palace Museum. The exquisite Topkapi dagger wows tourists with its dazzling diamonds and golf ball-sized emeralds. Clearly, the Ottomans in their heyday were a wealthy power. The palace is also a holy spot for Muslims, containing relics of Muhammad and other prophets, some of whom are revered in both the Bible and the Quran. This contains what's considered to be the arm of St. John the Baptist. And here's John's skull inside this jeweled case. For Muslims, the most precious relics are those of Mohammed. His bow and sword, exquisite cases containing his tooth, some hair, and his holy seal. And in the adjacent room, a hafiz, that's someone who's memorized all 6,000 verses of the Quran, is part of a team that sings verses from the Muslim holy book 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For generations, Europe dreaded the Ottoman threat. They were on the march, even knocking on Vienna's fortified door. But through the 19th century, a combination of corruption, incompetent sultans, and an antiquated medieval organization all contributed to the eventual fall of the Ottoman Empire.
Any thoughts on that? Amazing how little is about that is taught in our schools. What an amazing culture that was. All right, let's jump around some other things. Any other thoughts, comments, any of that stuff? So I picked out a number of things that I was there a long time ago when I was 13 years old, and just some things about that place were just really startling to me. One of them is this temple to Apollo. So you heard that the Temple of Artemis, which I believe was the largest Greek temple ever built, it was one of the 7 wonders of the world. That was in Ephesus, and there's no trace of it left because the building blocks from that temple were used to build Ephesus, which came after, the Romans came after the Greeks. However, the 3rd largest temple that the Greeks ever built, which is larger than the Parthenon in Athens, was the temple to Apollo, which is in Greece. So I'm going to play you a quick video of this place.
Hello, my name is Ertun Gecir. I'm a tour guide in Turkey. Today we are visiting one of the best preserved temples of the ancient world, the Temple of Apollo in Didyma.
God of the sun.
It was one of the biggest temples of the ancient Greek world, and its oracle was the 2nd most important after the one in Delphi. There was a temple dedicated to Artemis, the twin sister of Apollo, in this area. That's why the place was called Didyma, which means twins in ancient Greek.
Those columns in the background are 60 feet tall as a 6-story building. Those columns are like 8 feet across.
The first temple that was built here in the 8th century BC was very small and simple. In the 6th century BC, started construction of a much larger temple that was destroyed in the 5th century by Persians. A construction of a new temple started with donations of Alexander the Great. It continued for centuries, but was never completed. So when you look at some of these massive columns, you can see that they remained unfinished. The temple was anyway used and kept its importance during Roman times, and was later converted into a church. Didyma was not an ancient city, but a worship place. This is the sacred road between the ancient city of Miletus and the Temple of Apollo. Pilgrims and visitors were using this road to come to the temple, especially during the festivals or the celebrations dedicated to their god Apollo. Along the road there were many fountains, baths, little shops where people can buy little souvenirs, the statues of Apollo, or...
So I'm going to stop here because we're almost out of time. But this is where the prophets of the Greek era would do their prophecies. And there was some kind of a gas that came out of the ground in there that caused the priests to hallucinate, they believe. And that's where they gave them the power of prophecy. So I'm going to jump from that site. I'm going to go to, I'm going to show you a couple of, I'm going to jump to another amazing site, which let's see if hopefully this shows. Let me know if it doesn't work. This is a place called Pamukkale, and let me know if these pictures don't show. Does that show up to you all?
It's just small, but we could see it. You can hit the plus zoom in, so you can zoom in if you want.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
So these are a hot spring that's very high in calcium, and it forms these terraces. It forms these terraces that that cover the whole a vast amount of countryside. So I'll scan through these and keep blowing them up. And it's really quite amazing. What's interesting is that these terraces existed for thousands of years. So does anybody know who Mark Antony is? Mark Antony?
Cleopatra's lover.
Cleopatra's lover,
His
right?
lover. Yep.
So Mark Antony built a spa for Cleopatra at this location as a gift to her. And I'm going to show you a video of that spa.
He knew what he was doing.
You got that right.
Yeah, let me play this video for you. Let me know if you can see it. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
What is up, you guys? It's Fabian from the Jans Journal, and in today's video we will go to Cleopatra's pool in Turkey. Now, the cool part about this pool is that you can bathe in the same waters in which Cleopatra once swam. Unlike the white water of the lower pools in Pamukkale, the pool favored by Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, is pure, clear, warm water. Once it was surmounted by a Roman temple to Apollo, with ornate roof held up with gigantic columns. Just imagine how Cleopatra must have experienced this in its glory day.
So I'll cut that one short. So that's a pretty amazing site that they have over there. I remember when I mentioned when I was 13, me and my dad took a walk along the beach, and unbelievably, we encountered an old Roman mosaic that was just there. You know, it was almost like we had discovered it for the first time ourselves. So the countryside, there's so many ancient ruins there that you just stumble across them walking around. So I'm going to show you with these mosaics that they have just all over the place.
I'm Michael Hoff, and I have unearthed a massive Roman mosaic. The mosaic is spectacular because it is extremely large. As far as we are aware, and it looks to be the largest mosaic of its kind ever found in southern Turkey. It's also unusual in its preservation. It's extremely well preserved. The part that we have excavated, and we have uncovered approximately 50% of it, it looks to be in pristine shape. We were surprised to have found a mosaic of such size and of such caliber in this region of Turkey, an area that had usually been off the map, off the radar screen of most ancient historians and archaeologists. And
so I think that's one of the unique things about Turkey is that there's so many sites that you know, you just almost stumble across them. Let me see what else I've missed here. Let's show you a little bit more about the Hagia Sophia. I'm just amazed that this church was built in the 5th century. That's the 400s, like 450 or something, making it 1500 years old. And it's still
situated on a hill overlooking the Sea of Marmara and the Bosphorus. Hagia Sophia has gone through various transformations since it was built in what is now Istanbul in 537, and it remains one of the most important monuments of the world. And now it will once again house prayers while remaining open for visitors. But let's first look at how the majestic structure came into being and how it functioned over time. Byzantine Emperor Constantius II commissioned the construction of the first Hagia Sophia in 360. It was built with a wooden roof and was soon burned to the ground in riots. Theodosius II built a second version as a grand marble structure in 415, which was razed to the ground for the second time during the Nika Revolt in 532. Some fragments of that building still remain today. The building that does remain today was built in 537 during the reign of Emperor Justinian I, whose desire was to build the largest church of his time. According to oral tradition, after its completion, he exclaimed, "Solomon, I have surpassed you," referring to the first temple built by King Solomon. Hagia Sophia then remained the world's largest church for nearly 1,000 years. The church was fortified and turned into a mosque after the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II conquered Istanbul in 1453. The Sultan kept the name Hagia Sophia while he had the church repurposed as a mosque after covering mosaics along its walls with plasters. He also added Islamic features such as minarets and a mihrab, a niche in the wall where the Muslim imam would lead prayer in the direction of Mecca. It remained the principal mosque in Istanbul right up until 1616, when construction on the Sultan Ahmet Mosque, also known as the Blue Mosque, was finally completed. In 1931, the founder of the Byzantine Institute of America, Thomas Whitmore, traveled to Istanbul and obtained the permission of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the first president of the Republic of Turkey, to oversee the removal of plaster covering the Byzantine mosaics in Hagia Sophia and turn it from a mosque into a museum. The 1972 book, Hagia Sophia, A History of Constantinople, quotes Whitmore as saying, "Santa Sophia was a mosque the day I talked to him. The next morning, when I went to the mosque, there was a sign on the door written in Atatürk's own hand. It said the museum is closed for repairs." While some say these steps are what led to the conversion, some Turkish historians claim Atatürk considered turning Hagia Sophia into a museum as early as 1923, the year the Turkish Republic was founded. But it was in 1935 that Atatürk ordered the conversion along with the Turkish Assembly of Ministers.
So that's enough about the Hagia Sophia. Any thoughts on that? We're almost at the top of the hour. We got to start the trivia contest. I'm looking through and see if they can play anything else. I believe I have a video on the Grand Bazaar, which is a very special place. Let's see if this is it.
Shoppers love the Grand Bazaar. And non-shoppers love the Grand Bazaar. The Grand Bazaar is just a cultural must-see and do. This is the square in front of it. You step inside, and it's literally thousands of shops. And it was there's an amazing history to it. There's
this is in Istanbul, right next to the Topkapi
all sorts of different
Palace.
zones where you can see some sort of a crude kind of Wall Street and currency exchange going on. You can see all the leather souk. You can see the goldsmiths, and you can see, you know, the fruit stalls and the leather shops. And it's just an amazing place to explore. I never get tired of the Grand Bazaar, and I just like to clown around with the merchants and take photographs. And with a good guidebook, we have a guided tour of the Grand Bazaar, get a cultural understanding out of the place as well as just browsing and random shopping. Nearby is a place called the Spice Market, and it's just another bazaar, and it's very popular with tourists, and it's very colorful, and it's fun to visit that. One of the highlights for me when I'm in Istanbul is to check out its medieval ramparts, the Ottoman ramparts. They are the most incredible wall, you know, protecting the whole city, going from the Bosporus on one side to the Golden Horn on the other, Bosporus and Golden Horn, then providing sort of a three-quarters moat around the most important city in its day. And you can actually climb along the wall. We've got a tour along the wall in our Istanbul guidebook that's narrated, and it makes for a beautiful walk, and it drops you off in a very characteristic neighborhood. It's so important to get away from the tourist zone and actually get out there where the people live and play some backgammon and connect with the locals.
Okay, well, that ends it. Any thoughts or questions about this? We're at top of the hour when we start the trivia contest. Any thoughts about Turkey? Did I do any misquotes or misinformation? Let me know.
You did good. You did good. I think you did a great job.
Yeah, you did a great job, Lou.
Yeah, it's tricky because there's so many cross cultures going on, especially in Turkey. And,
You did a good job.
You didn't talk about Santa Claus.
Excellent job. A lot to contain.
All right, well, let's, I'm gonna stop sharing the video now. And let's go to the trivia contest. So let me fire that up.
I'm
Get
here.
ready,
I'm ready.
Computers, get ready to play some trivia here. Get ready to play some trivia. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, does everybody remember the main rule about trivia?
It's not what you think it is.
Yeah, it covers absolutely nothing that I talked about. Okay, so here we go. First question. Get ready. By the way, I haven't sent out any gifts for the last couple of meetings, but I'm going to do that over the 3-day weekend. Okay, the Martin Luther King weekend. Here we go. First question. The world's oldest Christian church is in what city in Turkey?
Istanbul.
Good guess, Tom. Nope.
Ephesus.
Oh, that's another good guess. But no. Y'all are historians now.
Mosque collapsed after the earthquake in Antakya.
What happened?
Antioch.
The world's oldest Christian church is in what city in Turkey?
Yes, that blow.
The city of Antakya.
Constantinople.
Yeah, who said that? Who just said that?
Cassandra.
Congratulations. The city of Antioch.
Antioch.
The shadow of St. Peter outside of Antioch is believed to have been created by Jesus' disciple Simon Peter. It makes it the oldest place of Christian worship in the world. You can still visit the church and see traces of the ancient decoration today. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, good job, Cassandra. Would you like a necklace or a bracelet?
A necklace.
Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.
All right, next question. Here we go. What famous Christmas character was born in Turkey and in what city?
Santa Claus.
And in what city?
Nickelodeon. It was Istanbul. Couldn't hear the question.
Turkey.
What famous Christmas character was born in Turkey and in what city? Can you guys all see the screen?
Yeah, we can see
It's
this.
Patera.
Where?
Patera. Patera.
Yes.
Oh, good job, Brenda.
Saint Nicholas.
All right, Brenda, you got it.
Okay, I'll give it to Gracie.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your kindness, Brenda.
Sure.
And who, by the way, somebody said you didn't talk about Santa Claus. Who said that before we even did this?
I remember, but
I think it was Yvonne.
Yvonne, how did you know this?
Brenda, really quick, Gracie's not on. Can you look at the participants and see who would you like to provide that to?
Okay. I'll give it to Bertha.
Well, thank you so much for your kindness, Brenda.
Sure.
Bertha,
Thanks,
would you like a
Brenda.
necklace or a bracelet?
Necklace. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Brenda, and thanks so much for coming on, Ms. Bertha. We got you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Well, a lot of Christian stuff here. What very famous person in Christianity was born in Tarsus in southern Turkey?
Paul.
Yes,
Mr. Thomas
very
did that
good. Who
first.
got that?
Good job, Mr. Thomas.
I said it first, but it's okay.
No, yeah, I think
Well,
it wasn't Thomas. Someone said it before Thomas.
It was my name is Jada.
Okay,
Jada got it.
Jada. Well, good. Well, thank you so much again. Thanks for speaking up. Would you like a necklace or a bracelet, Miss Seegers?
I don't know which either one of them looks like. Which one you think is the
It's
prettiest?
whatever one you like. It's some African jewelry, so a necklace or a bracelet.
I'll take a bracelet.
Thank you so much for participating, Miss Seegers. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, last question. Here we go. Oh, that might have been the last question. We'll find out. Oh, this is the last question. Oh, this is a tough one. Explain the famous connection between Holland and Turkey.
What's the connection between Holland and Turkey?
Could it be tulip?
Oh my gosh, Tom!
Oh, good.
Tom was not going to be denied. Tom, you are not going to be denied.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thomas, can you explain it? Explain it.
I just happen to know it, that's all.
But do you know what the connection was?
The growing, the bulbs.
Yeah, the sultans of the Ottoman Empire loved tulips. And a Dutch trader happened to visit the Sultan and he gave them some bulbs. And it all took off from there.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks so much for that information.
Good
Lou.
job, Tom. I was wondering if you were going to win. That you would have broken your streak if you didn't.
He always gets
Would you like a necklace or a bracelet, Mr. Thomas?
I just give it to somebody.
Can you look at the participants?
I'm looking at it now.
Good.
Here we go. Gloria Duckett.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your kindness, Mr. Thomas.
All right.
I really appreciate that. Miss Duckett, if you're able to unmute, would you like a necklace or a bracelet?
It looks like she's not there anymore.
I got you, Miss Duckett, so just let us know. But thanks so much for participating, and congratulations to Cassandra, Miss Bertha, Miss Seegers, and Miss Duckett for winning a prize today. Thanks so much for coming on and participating in our lunch club today.
And thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Let's all thank Lou for doing
Thanks for getting people to attend. Invite more people to attend. It was great having 42. That's a record.
Yeah, we reached 46 today. So good. Thank you all for coming on.
Almost hit that 50.
And then next week, just make sure you check out our daily email for next week's country. And I know you all enjoy it. And let's all thank you for doing such a great job.